Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, Miss City. We are from Group 6. My name is Habila and my other two friends are Sophia and Filza. In this video, we're going to talk about sensory processing disorder, but we're only going to be focusing on these 5 points. So, enjoy the video.
So guys, some children have sensory processing difference that are extreme enough to interfere with daily functioning. There are 7 senses as well as the external senses of touch, sight, sound, taste, and smell. There are internal sense of vestibular, it's a movement and balance, and proprioception, body position. Okay, now let's talk about the symptoms. A child with SPD shows a variety of symptoms that can be in one or more areas. Example of a responsive child, they avoid touching or being touched by objects and people. So they basically avoid physical touch or physical contacts. And they also will react with fight or flight response to getting dirty, to certain texture of clothing and food, and to light, unexpected touch. They also might have a poor eye contact and get overreact when they see a bright light. For sensory discrimination problem, they cannot tell where on his or her body has been touched, and also they has poor body awareness and is out of touch with their hands and feet. Now let's talk about sensory based motor problems. When it comes to balancing, they lose their balance easily, like when they walk or changing position. They lose their balance easily, or when they have to do activities that use a bilateral coordination, they probably has difficulty using both sides of the body together for jumping or symmetrically, or catching balls, clapping, holding hands, swing.
Sensory processing disorder relates to high learning potential. Between 40% and 85% of children who have other disabilities like ADHD and autism have sensory processing problems as well. SPD affects people of all ages and sometimes is noticeable in the first weeks or months in life. Sensory modulation disorder is the most common subtype of SPD in HLP children. Many HLP children also have dyspraxia. There is a common symptom of sensory issues in high learning potential children, and it is heightened awareness and response to sensory stimulation. Persistent, inexplicable, or apparently careless errors or skill deficits in HLP children should be carefully evaluated for sensory processing deficits, learning disabilities, or other neurological problems. Does the problem get in the child's way? Does the child's problem get in other people's way? Has a friend or teacher suggested you seek help? Those are 3 questions you need to consider to determine whether to seek help for a child with sensory processing issues.
Number 3. What are the possible treatment? Treatment for sensory processing disorder depends on the specific needs of the individual, but the most beneficial treatment is occupational therapy using a sensory interrogation framework. Other types of therapy that are useful for SPD include physiotherapy, speech and language therapy, vision therapy, auditory training, chiropractic therapy, hypnotherapy, martial arts, nutritional therapy, perceptual motor therapy. And then, number 4. How parents should deal with sensory issues? First, calm the children. Allow them time to become calm rather than rush them. And then be prepared. Have a collection of sensory tools such as chewing gum or a stress ball. And then anticipate environment and children reactions, like awareness of what might happen is halfway to dealing with it. And then plan a graceful exit. When children overreact, Removing them from the immediate environment may provide enough of a break to come and deal with a little later. And then discipline when you know negative behavior a choice. Not all behavior is a matter of choice. Some may be due to children's neurological reaction to sensory stimuli. And then remain calm. Use a calming voice when talking to children and avoid discussing issues until everyone is calm. Thank you.
Now, in school setting, depending on what sensory issues, there are some strategies to treat HLP children with SPD. The first one is good communication, and then control environment to reduce sensory overload. Make a consistent routines and carefully plan transitions. Scheduled movement breaks multisensory lessons. Do encouragement to be active learners rather than passive learners. And make time for sensory processing. Simplify your instructions. Give alternatives choices. Choice of writing implement. Teacher can lower their voices and have a realistic expectation that is appropriate for the child's ability. And last but not least, physical feedback is also important, like get up close, look in the eyes, or touch through focus. These children also need respect and understanding of their needs. Teachers should discipline the children for behavioral issues only in situations where they had a choice of how to behave, and not in situations where the children's behavior was a reaction to sensory input, and the children were struggling to control their reaction to the sensory input.
So you have reached the end of our video. Here's our conclusion about sensory processing disorder.
Sensory processing disorder, or SPD, is the inability to use information received through the senses in order to function smoothly in daily life. SPD is not one specific disorder but an umbrella term to cover a variety of neurological disabilities. SPD is also called sensory integration dysfunction, or SID. And with the parent support and therapeutic intervention, HLP children with SPD can learn strategies for reducing sensory input and strategies for responding appropriately in situations where excessive and sensory input occurs. It can also give benefits to the children and the parents at home.
And that's it from Group 6. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day.